Start the recording, and this is the meeting of the 95 Lawrence Road Task Force. First on our agenda is the RFP, which we now have a final enough version, which hopefully might get a couple of more little tweaks before I send it to Rebecca to put in the selectmen's packet. I can screen share. I don't know, it was a big, a big Dropbox folder. Did everybody get a chance to look at it?
Elaine, I haven't been able to set up a Dropbox app, but I did go over it. And there's just a couple of small inaccuracies, and I'll just punch them out now. Maria Broadbent in most of the RFP is referred to as the town administrator. But with in another section of the RFP, she's referred to as the assistant town administrator. I don't know if anybody else caught that. Yeah. I'd also suggest in the RFP, it's asking that when proposals come in, they come in copies of 7. I'd like to make that now with regard to Harry and Maria being with us, we make that 10 copies with regard to the proposals. Anybody else catch that? No?
I'm perfectly happy with electronic copies if that makes a difference.
You don't want a working document in front of you with,
I'll certainly take one, Kathleen, but I can survive without it if it turns out to be a problem.
Well, it just says that those developers that are making these proposals, make them in copies of 7.
Mm-hmm.
We're asking them to do that anyway. Now we've got 2 new members, maybe just change that number to 10.
I'll see if that's reasonable or if it's,
Too expensive for them? Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 2 things I caught. I thought it looked really good. I caught Gary with the site plan, the IA is still in there, but maybe we should leave it because, it's there for a developer to use as a template. Anybody else think on that?
Well, I think it's in contrast though with the whole section about sewage disposal then, if we still say IA. I sent those comments to, that comment to Laura and Katie to see
if we should just take it out
or change it to say, the town wastewater treatment facility, whatever would be the right thing to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big one. I caught one little typo, and then I believe Gary pointed out that the due date says June 5th. Is that right, Gary?
June 4th.
My suggestion was to make it after town meeting. It doesn't really matter to us in terms of a timetable, and if we made it like, I'm just arbitrarily saying June 15th, we would have the results of town meeting should there be a vote on the wastewater.
This goes to the selectmen for approval on what, Tuesday? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I was hoping to have it on there for Tuesday.
So assuming that happens and they approve it Tuesday, you're probably not going to complete the publication process before the end of March.
Right. That's also
so if you're going to give them even 60 days, get you to June 1st.
Yeah.
So I think June 15th is probably the earliest practical date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
You get a better product if you give them a little more time.
Yeah.
And and let's not get it lost in town meeting and the inevitable hustle and bustle that goes on there.
Yeah.
Right, great. Yep. Then the other thing that is outstanding, Laura sent separate emails about the LDA and the ground lease with stuff highlighted in yellow that the stuff we got from KP Law that she sees as a problem that's to the detriment of the town's position. So she is talking to their council today. And hopefully we could have that resolved by Tuesday. So I don't know if I should send the whole RFP packet plus those two documents separately. Let me show you what she's got there. First, the LDA. There's a section. Is this the only thing there? I'm not sure what the issue is here.
I don't see it either.
No, that's above my pay grade for sure. I don't know if there's, oh, okay. This is a section, I think, where she sees the real problems. So hopefully we will hear back from her. You know, this went to, I think KP Law is pretty much just the template that's used for all these kind of things. And they came back with some language, some different language that she has some concerns about, you know, for the benefit, for the good of the town.
I'm not seeing anything highlighted in yellow on the screen.
You're not?
No,
No, you have to scroll down, Elaine.
What do you mean?
We only see the top little bit.
we only see the top part of the agreement.
Is that right? Why is that? Do I go to full screen or something?
I think you need to scroll down on your document.
Okay, now we've got it.
Okay, well, there's a whole bunch, there's a bunch of them. Wait a second. Okay, can you see that one?
This is section 3.3.
This is, okay, wait, bring your shared window to the front. Wait a minute.
We can see it.
You can see it, okay. So there's a couple of sections here. Can you see that?
No, just 3.3 we can see. What is the usual? What is her objection to this part? Did she tell you?
I think she explained it to us in our earlier meeting.
Last time, yeah.
But there were some restrictions that I'm going to stop sharing because it doesn't seem like it's working. There are some restrictions that KP put in that are really detrimental to the project. And so we gotta work those out.
Yeah, there's a balance between giving the developer enough freedom to exercise their own judgment about how to develop this project and against giving the select board so much control that the developer doesn't feel that, you know, they can make decisions that make economic sense. You know, it's
Right.
They're in effect beholden to the select board to do the right thing. And if the select board decides for reasons that they deem sufficient that they don't like the project, you know, the developers already expended lots of time and effort and will have nothing to show for it. So it's kind of a disincentive to surrender too much control to somebody else.
Okay.
And you have to strike a balance. I don't know whether the balance gets struck, but.
I mean, in the instance of the 3.3 that you just had up on the screen, you know, language in there that says shall not be reasonably withheld, pretty standard stuff. And, you know, being that the agreement's you know, it's a two-way street and a balancing act between the two, I don't find that language problematic myself.
Yeah.
Elena, if I can recall what she said to us at our last meeting, she felt that there was language from KP Law that gave the town too much control over the project, and therefore it might affect our funding. Is that correct? Am I correct in that, Elaine?
Yeah, I don't really recall the specifics. I mean, we will get to the specifics more clearly after she talks to their counsel, but I am hoping, and because, you know, Laura has a lot more experience in these kind of projects than, as she said, KP Law does on some level. So
And she knows how the legislature's moving.
So I'm hoping if we get, you know, a change from what KP Law did, that will be accept.
Was
Go back
Laura
to-
going to suggest new
Want to
language?
withhold this?
Excuse me?
To
No.
go back to your question, do you want to withhold this?
No, no, we need to keep moving forward. We're gonna miss a deadline.
I meant this section from the select board. Or do you want to add the whole thing and just bring in comments separately?
I think I would send the whole thing, and in turn, we might get, you know, feedback in terms for the deadline even, or send the whole package plus her
Comments.
email with those comments. I think that we should have
That's
everything.
Okay,
Well, the
Okay.
question from the select board is going to be about whether KP Law has reviewed it and their thoughts on it. So, you know,
yeah,
I mean, the cleaner it can go to the select board, the better.
Mhm. Right,
I mean, if it goes up all as, you know, one motion, then I wouldn't recommend it doing it as one motion if you've got a couple of things that are still in limbo.
You also do have some flexibility to change this after the fact because, you know, typically part of the process is questions from potential responding parties.
Mhm.
And you have to promulgate your answers to everybody that's registered. But if you do start to get questions about these documents, you can react to them by amending them if that's the right thing to do.
okay,
Again, there's, you know, there's some point in time when that opportunity has expired, but
Mhm.
it's not the date it goes to publication.
Okay, well, that's good. And I mean, you know, I think sending this stuff to Rebecca by noon tomorrow is good enough, and we may have clarity by then.
I have to agree with Maria about making an issue out of something, though, that might just not have to be an issue. And
Okay,
if I were a selectman and my attorneys said we should use this language, they don't know Laura as well as you do as the counterbalance. And so then you're raising something that maybe never would have come up. So,
okay,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know, yellow highlighter is like a red flag.
yeah,
So, you know, as clean as it can go, the smoother the ride it's going to have.
The one area I think that was specific in nature was the local preference, which we are required to not have by statute.
Right,
So I think taking that out probably is a positive.
right.
And that's something, it will come up later. We'll
Yeah.
deal with it at the appropriate time.
right.
yeah, and that had come out, right? I
Right.
didn't see that in there. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. That's, I think that's good counsel, and I feel more comfortable that potentially there's the opportunity to clarify later, as long as it's before proposals come back. That's great.
So your desire is that you have all three documents on there at the same time.
Well, they're all they're part of the attachments. There's like, almost a dozen attachments.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it's
so
all
it'll be,
part of the
it'll
whole
be one motion then.
The whole package is, together as one big document right now, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elaine, you did you make the changes so that you're pointing to the housing plan and the wastewater report as opposed to incorporating them verbatim?
I was going to wait till after we met to send any more comments, So is the wastewater one in full in the attachments too?
Yeah,
It is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're
Just that
they're
you-
just supposed to be links for them to open them
Right.
from the town website.
The only attachment right now that seems iffy, Elaine, is the land lease.
Mhm.
That's the only attachment that's
got questions. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Laura will have, a concrete answer for you by Tuesday night's meeting, and, you can just add it into the comments.
We will see.
I'm getting my vaccine today,
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good, congratulations.
shortly, so,
Okay, all right. Well, the good news, Kathleen, is the county procurement officer is going to serve as our procurement officer.
oh, I could have told you that 3 weeks ago.
Yep,
Yeah.
right. Well, that's good. So that's taken care of. So I think we're,
So do you
Yeah.
want somebody to move the RFP sent to the selectmen and have us vote on that, Elaine, or no? Do we
Yeah.
need a vote?
I think that would be great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, then I guess I can move that we send this most recent version of the RFP with our hopes and dreams to the selectmen for the meeting on the 9th.
Second,
We just have to correct it to select board as opposed to
Select
select
board,
men.
I'm sorry, I'm so old fashioned, dear.
and just to make sure, this is the whole enchilada, right, Elaine?
The
Yeah.
whole thing.
Who seconded it?
Is that some of that tech talk?
That's Gary.
Who seconded that motion? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Gary,
I
Gary.
did.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Jan,
I,
Kathleen,
aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Olga, you're muted. Elaine, aye. Olga, can you unmute yourself? Can I unmute you as the host?
I don't think you can.
Oh, now I can. Okay, but I'm not a voting member. I'm a liaison from the planning board.
No, you are a member of,
Yeah.
you are the member. You are the member as
Okay, I didn't
representing,
realize that.
representing the planning board.
I vote in favor.
Thank you. Okay.
okay,
Okay, we're done with that. Great. Excellent. Major step. Blah, 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 blah. Does this need some kind of cover letter going with it?
If
Maybe-
you thought that there were obvious questions that you wanted them to be able to find the answers out to, if you had something that went along with it, it's not a bad idea.
I think it's mostly the timeline we'd want to stress how
We have
important it is.
timeline is, I'd encourage a timeline.
Mhm.
Whatever, granted, most of them aren't gonna read this until Sunday afternoon or Monday, so.
Right.
It just, whatever questions they can answer on their own before it gets there,
Mhm.
the smoother ride it's gonna have. There's a lot of business on this meeting on
Right.
Tuesday.
I understand. It's a big one. Yeah.
But if it takes up time and makes my evaluation shorter, I'm all for it.
Okay, we'll do our best.
Can we lobby for being early in the agenda?
Everybody seems to be doing that. We're
Yep.
gonna have to leave that to Michael, I think.
Great. Okay. I think there wasn't, and so that was the major thing. I don't have really anything else. I really want to concentrate on this process. So I know I put the community engagement on the agenda, but that's just the great piece that Carl wrote that we want to make sure is available to the public.
If that's something that came from your group as a whole, you may want to include that. Up to you.
Aha. Separate.
Up to you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to?
Not
Talk
from
about-
me.
Okay.
I had a question since I'm now participating. In the section about affordability, it's a little confusing to me. It says go to the evaluation criteria.
Mhm.
and where it's assuming 120% is below market rate. I think it means 120% of AMI renters are being charged below market rate. Does that make, it didn't make sense to me, and the evaluation criteria did not clarify. And I've always wondered about rents.
Excuse me,
How does that get,
Elaine, I'm gonna have to jump off to run up the road to another meeting.
Okay,
I'm happy to work with all of you, and
thank you
Phil
so much.
it's gonna be on for next week. So anything you need from me, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Uh,
you.
All right.
Thank you, Maria, take care.
Well,
And Kathleen's going to need to leave for her.
Yeah,
vac-
I got a buzz too. I'm getting a vaccine.
Yeah, this is the
Yippee.
thing.
Yay.
This is the thing we could catch you up on independently,
Right.
Olga, I think. Okay.
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 I just said, there's no pagination.
I
And
know.
yeah, so things like that.
Yeah, we're probably not going to change those little things because
I was a little confused as I was trying to,
I know. I've been asking for page numbers since the beginning, but for some reason we don't have them. Okay, everybody.
I have
Thank
a
you.
wait, I have a technical question. So if the select board approves it on the 9th,
Mhm.
can we still continue to make small changes, just as Olga was suggesting, if we find them? Or is it fixed in time on the 9th?
Well, you heard
Mm-hmm.
Harry say that as things come up, until the proposals come in, we can.
No, he's talking about the LDA or the lease, but
no, I'm talking about the
No, the whole thing.
RFP also, Gary.
yeah. So before after it gets approved by the select board, we could still continue to make corrections.
I believe so, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, great. But we do, as soon as it's approved by the select board, we want Maria to get it into the central register
Mhm,
and then arrange to get the advertising out.
mhm.
So.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Bye-bye.
For now.
Elaine, can I talk to you on the phone later?
Yes,
Okay. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.